Wow, brother Yamin, you're looking very fit, lah, bro.
Thank you very
Wow,
much.
you've been exercising or what? Doing a
Yeah,
four-wheel drive, is it?
walking, man.
Walking, huh?
Mm. Yeah.
So so thanks for doing this on short notice. I read your column in Free Malaysia today, and I saw that you had a very deep and quite a detailed point of view about EVs in this country. Of course, EVs seem to be taking the world by storm, lah, and I think sales have been exploding all over the world, right? And now people are talking about the death of engine-driven ice cars. We see Honda and Nissan, talking about merging. We see like established car makers struggling. We see Toyota market cap one fraction Tesla, even though they sell many more cars, right?
Yep.
So I want to talk to you about EVs because I am myself an EV denier, lah, Yamin. But I'm not the typical buyer, right? I'm Gen X, right? And I've got maybe 10 to 20 years left of car ownership, lah. I want to ask you, right? When you see what's been happening with EVs, right? What is the current state of the EV market in terms of adoption, lah, and how people think about EVs?
Okay, very good that you asked this question about deniers. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's see now. EV is not everybody's solution. So you are not a minority. Majority are now. What we see, we have something like 14,000 EVs registered on the road. 14,000
Mhm.
over the past
Okay.
since the government gave the budget benefits, no tax on CBU EVs until the end of this year, and um, that has really caught the market. So we have something like 14,000 cars registered now, and these are believers, the believers. And over the past 6, 7 months, 1 year, we also see the curious joining the EV market, but not everybody can. And these people who are deniers like you and I also is one of this combustion era Gen X, okay? Combustion era people. For us to when people ask us about EVs, we also will say, yeah lah, it's not for everybody lah. Number one, you need to have that discretionary income that you can afford to buy an EV just because you are curious. You may be curious, but you can't afford to buy an EV because you know why? You may be living in a condominium and you got no place to park your car. No, not everybody wants to arrive from the office, park the car in the four charging base in your condominium, go up there, have your dinner, and then when it's time to unplug your car because it's fully charged, you're already in your sarong or your pajamas and you don't feel really like coming out of your house, going down to reverse your car out and park it back in the normal place so that other people can charge the EV. Okay, so definitely, EV is not for everybody. So and you read my article in the Free Malaysia today, and I was saying that the what we will see in the coming year and coming years will be a new kind of EVs, which will be like long range EVs. We call them super hybrid. Super hybrids. You know why super hybrids? Because 80%, 90% of people in the developed world, including Malaysia and Thailand and Malaysia and Thailand and Singapore, 80%, 90% of us drive less than 100 kilometers a day. Drive less than drive less than 100 kilometers a day. Okay, the super hybrid will have about 100 kilometer of pure electron range. That means you can drive the whole day. You are a executive, you are a salary worker, you will drive the office, you will come back, and maybe you can drive for 4 days before you need to charge. So that is a super hybrid. Super hybrid means that you are really driving a EV, but you have a petrol engine as a safety net.
So my reservation, I'm not an EV denier. I just think that the original premise behind EV cars was the environment. But actually, it's not very environmentally conscious, right? Because it's made up of batteries, there's rare earths. I don't know about disposal, and of course, the whole thing is put together in a very unsustainable way, lah. Now, of
So now,
course,
so now
right?
I can tell you like this,
Uh,
there's a lot of narrative, there's a lot of conversation on this. How environmentally friendly is your EV? Your
Not
lithium
very,
comes from your lithium comes from
exactly.
child labor.
Yeah.
You know, they come from
Not even
Congo.
child labor. It's you have to mine, you have to extract the minerals from the earth, and 98% of them come from China.
And so this narrative is still out there. Jury hasn't come back, and there are two sides. One said very good, very environmentally friendly, and another one says no bullshit. Your EV is being charged by a big power station which is all using coal. So what
Yeah,
environmental benefit? Okay,
yeah.
so environmental benefit aside, we must realize one thing that is driving the EV transition. One most important thing is about economics. The electric motor, my dear, is so efficient. It converts the energy, 90% of the energy that you put into the electric motor is converted into motion. Okay, that's the economic point.
Okay,
Huh? Whereas
okay,
when you pump a fossil fuel into your car, only about 30-40% is converted into motion. 60% is lost as waste heat.
okay.
So that is number one. Purely from an economic perspective, purely from a efficiency effective, purely from an efficiency aspect, the electric motor is so much more efficient than a petrol or diesel engine. Petrol or diesel engine. Yes. So
I
that's
take the efficiency argument, Yamin, but I'm not convinced that the efficiency argument outweighs the durability of the vehicle. Because I come from an era where we understand that cars can be, 10, 20, 30 years in service. Nowadays, EV cars are like smartphones. You use them for 4, 5 years, 6, 7 years. Then beyond that, I don't know what happens to them. Do you switch out the battery and get a new battery and put it in, or do you have to discard the whole thing? I'm not convinced about that, and they cost a lot of money.
so. That is something that we all are discussing now, and I'm trying to find an analogy that can answer your argument. An analogy I tried with my colleague Xuan lady. I said, hey, electric car and combustion car, you must think of it as like a watch. Here is a mechanical watch, which is a Rolex or a Omega. It can keep forever. And here is a similarly priced electric quartz watch,
Like Apple Watch lah.
like an
Ah,
Apple Watch.
oh,
So that is one analogy. Then I said, yeah, I mean, your analogy doesn't work with me because I don't care about watches. But actually, if you are a watch lover, that is a kind of energy you can use. Electric watch
correct.
versus a mechanical watch, whether it's automatic or not, is a mechanical watch. So your mechanical watch can last forever. It will retain its value for far longer than an quartz electric watch. Okay, that's one analogy. Yeah. So now we are changing. We're now moving into a new world.
Okay,
EV. You are right. The EV is just a smartphone on wheels. That's why you can see Huawei and Xiaomi building cars because really, an EV will be just like a smartphone on wheels. You don't think you can keep your Huawei or your BYD seal like you can keep your Toyota Land Cruiser 2 for 30, 40, 50 years. I
correct.
don't think so. The world change.
Yeah.
Next time, you are right lah. The world is changing. What you cannot think of your BYD, your electric car, as something that you can keep for 40 years. You can think, however, that this is changing. Electric car is just now what 12 years. Tesla sold in USA 12 years ago. Okay, and we can see now. Number one, batteries are lasting much longer than the car makers conservatively uh, estimated. They thought car battery can last 10 years, but actually you can see the Tesla in USA now they're lasting 12 years, 13 years already. Number one. Number two, the car won't be a car like a combustion car anymore. It will be a gadget that you will change in 5 years, and maybe you won't change car, maybe you'll change the battery because the battery will cost as much as the car. So that
Okay.
is something that we will have to factor in for the future lah.
So I see the cars like a technology device, right? Right now, the technology is still very new, and of course, the cost is very high. Over time, technology comes in, it's more common, the price goes down. But right now, EV cars are affordable because of government policy, lah, right? They're giving tax breaks, they're giving exemptions. That's why it's reasonably affordable. But if you take those policies away, it's going to cost a lot of money, 300,000, right? It's just not feasible. So do you see that over the long term, car prices, EV prices will be driven now to 100,000, 50,000, 30,000? Just like how these devices are.
I think the car prices now, EV car prices, are going to go down much further than what we have in Malaysia. You can
Okay.
see in China already the a reasonable, a decent EV in China will cost something like 60, 70,000 now, and I think it will come all over the world.
It will come all the way down, right? And the
Yes,
Chinese car makers, they're so good and they're so affordable, they're killing the European guys. The BMW. Don't even talk about Stellantis guys, lah, right? I mean, the whole stable, Fiat, Alfa, all these things. Don't Peugeot, all these things, right? Renault. Talk about those guys like Mercedes, BMW. Where do you see them in 10 years' time? Volvo, right? Where do you see these guys? Jaguar. Where do you see these guys?
I think now that is a very good question, because you see you can look at the Proton Amas 7. You
Yeah.
can look at the BYD M6, 105,000, Okay, these are real people movers. They are MPVs. The BYD M6, which I'm testing now for our 2025 car of the year, the nominee. It is a MPV. M6 means it's six-seater MPV. The Proton EMA 7 is also a six-seater MPV or seven-seater, and price is almost two-thirds that of a Honda CRV. So Honda CRV, you can say, hey, Honda CRV, I can keep for 40 years. It's still a Honda CRV. You can see the
Correct.
Honda CRV now. A nice 20-year-old Honda CRV now. Is the price is still around 25,000? Huh? It's
Correct.
not free, man. It's
Correct.
25,000. So
Correct.
how do we know? I don't have a crystal ball. How do I know now that the BYD or the Proton Urban 7, how much it will be priced in 30 years? I really have no answers for you, lah. So this is something that we are now, all of us now are in this very exciting point of automotive history. We don't know where we will go, but we know now that for two-thirds of the price of a Honda CRV, I have a perfectly nice EV with nice air conditioning. And one of the big thing is that when I go out station now with the EV, I can, beyond range anxiety lah, I can, when I feel sleepy, I can just park my car, put on the zone, climate zone, that I want a nap, 30-minute nap. So I'll have
Yeah.
nice air conditioning for 30 minutes without having a fossil fuel engine running and heating up the whole environment and heating up the car that I'm sleeping in, as well as also being dangerous. I could be dead from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Exactly. So when I see what Tesla is doing in America, right, Yamin, right, they've got full self-driving that is on trial in, I think, Mexico as well as in Texas, really. As in, literally, I've seen stories about how guys are sitting in the car, totally, they don't touch the steering wheel, they don't touch the pedals, like 400 miles, from point to point, total full self-drive, okay? And this is
Yeah,
purely by computer, amazing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And the range, of course, is there. The
mm,
full self-drive is there. Tesla is also making robots, right? Humanoid robots, the Optimus, right? Is what they call it.
yeah,
And they also make battery packs. And that's on Tesla side alone. I don't know how far ahead China is. I think China is supposedly further ahead of America, right? All that is coming. And Tesla's model last time was always to start with a very expensive model and then to drive the cost lower, right? That was
mm,
always their model.
yeah.
I don't
But
know, man. I
anyway,
do.
I have to talk about, now we already moved to a new subject now about autonomous driving and
Yeah,
full
I mean
self-driving.
that's the future, right? If you want to talk about EVs, right? Otherwise, why go EV?
Okay, so there's the future, but there are many steps to the future. You can't go to the future immediately. Number one, Tesla's FSD, full self-driving. Tesla's full self-driving is a bit flawed because Elon Musk never believed in LIDARs. He didn't believe in LIDARs. He always wanted only radars. He didn't want that, this laser ranging,
Yeah.
laser ranging is lidar. That's why his full self driving is not so fail safe lah. We also know that there have been many crashes in FSD of his FSD. But basically, world is going towards autonomous driving. That is the real thing. You already have three cities where they really do full robot taxis. I
Yeah,
think
robotaxis. Yeah.
two in USA. I think two in China. Wuhan, I think definitely Wuhan, and one more in China, and two in USA. Waymo is way ahead because Waymo already used lidar from long ago, and Elon Musk now is going to use also lidar already. But what I want to say is the full self-driving and robot taxi won't go to passenger car first. It will go to truck industry first. Truck industry
Betul lah.
truck industry is commercially justifiable because these trucks are running, you know, they are doing duty cycle of maybe 1 million kilometers in 5 years. So they
Yeah.
use all the time. So it's justifiable in commercial vehicle. We see in commercial vehicles already in USA there are two companies doing this kind of for Home Depot, and one more company they use full auto robotic trucks where they have a driver. The driver will just do that out of the warehouse. Then they will go on the highway. That's where it all takes over, and the driver can relax. So that's good. So that's where we will go for this robotic driving, auto taxis, robotic cars. It won't come to passenger cars yet. I think it will go on commercial vehicles first, and slowly it will come down to passenger cars. Of course, it will go to the most expensive passenger cars in the passenger car industry. You go down to the most expensive passenger, the premium passenger cars first lah. And talking of legacy car makers, they are all being battered uh, by these Chinese EVs. One thing that is important to note is that nobody expected China to transform the automotive industry so fast. Nobody expected that. BMW, the first car maker in China is Volkswagen, and then GM. These were the two first car makers in China 30 years ago. They never expected that the Chinese auto industry can take that technology and innovate it and make it better. And one of the key points of the Chinese car industry being better was that when this uh, they launched this Wang Yang, Geely Wang Yang U8, they can have one electric motor on each tire, so the car can almost like turn on its own track. The Yang Wang U8 they call this is a Geely car. You saw that or not?
I've seen it. Yeah. My concern with the Chinese EV makers lah is
Hmm.
because they don't have a long track record of operations, much less in China lah, but even less so in Malaysia. So there's concerns about lack of parts, poor servicing, focus on sales, less on maintenance, less on service.
Okay,
And
we can get back to that later. First of all, I want to talk to you about innovation. So Chinese industry now already much more innovative than legacy car makers. Look at this is something that Land Rover should have done. What this kind of
correct,
things is something that Land Rover as the supreme off-road machine they should have done this. Well, it's a no-brainer, man. You have electric motor on each wheel is your perfect 4x4 machine, brother. Perfect four by
correct,
four machine. Every
correct.
wheel can have torque sensing already. No need
Yeah,
automatic
but
gearbox.
how's that going to do in Africa when you're 1,000 miles away from the nearest service
Okay,
center? It doesn't, right?
okay,
I mean,
yeah,
it's not repairable.
yeah. So there is another issue lah. There's range anxiety lah. That's
Yeah.
another issue lah. There's range anxiety.
No, range
Range
anxiety, it's
anxiety
just
can be
repair. Like in the middle of the jungle, right? I mean, you can repair a Land Cruiser, right? Even a 30-year-old Land Cruiser, you can repair on the spot, right? Simple
field
thing.
repair lah.
No,
We call
no,
it field repair.
correct, correct.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly, field repair. But in the middle of the jungle, when you got like four motors, computers everywhere, wiring everywhere, the wire harness alone is I don't know how many thousand kilometer, right? I mean, It doesn't. It's not a use case for four-wheel drive, like, let's just say.
That's true lah. That's true. We don't deny it lah. We just talk of the technology part of it lah. Because I can even tell you now, the Land Rover Defender, the new version one, the new Land Rover Defender with the monocoque, the one that we see now in town, the beautiful one, that one so you cannot repair in the field, because it's too many
Correct.
computers.
Correct.
Once it breaks down and you can't start it, you can't even tow it out. You can't even tow it
Correct.
out.
There's a
Everything will
roadblock,
lock.
right? Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
to flatbed it out. How are you going to flatbed the bloody car in the middle of the jungle? The flatbed cannot even go in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that is another issue. That is about field repair, field servicing.
Yeah. Correct.
And
Okay.
then
And
now,
now,
now you are talking about, hey, this Chinese car, they have no track record. How can we trust? I also ask this question, what? How do
yeah.
I know? Tell you 10 years ago there's 500 car makers in China. No, 10 years ago, 5 years ago it was 200, left 200, half dead, 200.
Correct.
now
Yeah.
uh,
You go.
now left only 100.
So if you buy a car from a Chinese maker in Malaysia, right? Okay, nice, great features, right? How long is it gonna last? 1 year, 3 years, 4 years? And then after that, what? Where's the support, right? And are they going to survive? I mean, do they have a 3S everywhere, all Malaysia? No, right?
Yep.
Do they invest in parts and warehousing? No, right? Do they invest in engineering? No, right? They are front end sales guys, right? But do they have the support for buyers? I'm not sure.
Yes, you are not sure, and I also cannot tell you. I don't have a crystal
Yeah,
ball because, like you said, there's no legacy. What you are
correct.
buying purely on hope lah. Now we have already about how many 10 Chinese car brands here. I can tell you within the next 1 year, one of them will be out of the market. So what is going to happen to this fellow who bought this car? Is going to be a stranded asset.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's
And
life,
it's not
what,
cheap,
isn't
huh?
it?
Hey, BYD seal is damn nice. I sat inside damn nice. I drove the car, damn nice, okay. Hey, but no pa cheng 200,000, okay. Hey, 200,000, I can buy two Proton X50 and then have 20,000 left over, You know what I mean?
Yes.
And my Proton X50, okay, that's China, right? But it's an engine, okay? It's an engine. At least I know that the people can work on the engine, okay?
Yeah.
And my Honda City is an engine with a gearbox. It's 70-year-old technology, fine, but people can still repair it, you
Yeah.
know?
Correct.
I can buy three Honda City for that money,
Yeah. So
right?
come back to the same question. Let's say when you want to buy a car now, you the day has come already now. The day has come when you can buy a Honda CRV, 178,000, or you can buy a Proton Ama 7, 105,000, or you can buy a BYD M6 for around 107,000 now. You already have a choice now, whether
Mm.
you want to try or not, or go with the what is very conservative tested. You don't worry lah. It will be there for another 20, 30 years lah.
Mm.
So it's all about trusting and want to try. I would
I
not
think
ask you to try if you don't want to try. No, forget it. you must.
I think if you already got two cars in your garage and you want to have if you have the money for the third car, then maybe lah. But if it's like for me, I only got one car. Now that car has to be a unicorn car. Has to take my kids to school. Have to be able to go outstation to Penang. Has to be able to go to TMC buy grocery, all these things, right? I'm not sure EV is the way forward lah.
Yeah. So it's got to be like that, Now I have also all my cars are combustion cars. All my cars
Yeah,
are combustion cars.
yeah.
So I already told myself, hey, Yamin, you already got all the combustion cars. Now you got the next time you're going to buy, if you want to buy any car, must be a EV because you
Oh,
yourself have to try it.
correct.
But
So how
my,
many cars? How many
huh?
cars have you got now? Well, I
Oh,
mean,
God.
what all the category got
Wow,
already
I
lah.
tell you, I got many cars now. I even have one car in Sarawak, one car in Sabah, 4x4, just for 4x4. For here, I still got many cars. So, the question now is, I want to buy my next EV must be a second EV because don't want to spend $100,000 for a car which I just really want to know about it. I want to live with it only what. So why I want to
Yeah,
spend $200,000 for a nice Ferrari eater? Tak payah mah.
correct,
I
correct.
just want to buy a EV, small urban EV, maybe like a BYD Dolphin, which is small and cute.
How much are they now?
And just lah, I'm waiting for 60,000 ringgit second hand lah.
But second hand, would it? I mean, there will be, because you know when you use a smartphone, right? Even the Apple iPhone, right?
Yeah.
You can there's a battery health reading one, So
Yes.
right now my battery health is going down every month. Every day is going down, like literally
Okay.
every week, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with an EV car, right? If you
Yes.
buy a 3-year-old EV car, it's not going to be 100% efficiency. It's going to be 60% efficiency,
No, no, no.
right?
So for EV, they have SOC, state of charge, and they also have a health indicator.
Ah,
So the most important parameter for a car EV, for a EV battery, the most important indicator is that it must always be above 90%. Above 90%, this state of health must be above 90%. If it's 70%, it's already scrapped and repurposed as a battery energy saver, BESS. That means you use it for a house power bank. But they have seen in the Tesla, after 10 years, the battery state of health is still more than 90%. So,
ah.
yes, yes, yes. So these EV batteries are far superior than a handphone battery lah. They have to be lah. So that is another thing that we are now learning, that the car makers conservatively, in their conservative mind, they said, okay, lah, the state of health cannot be more than 10 years. But now it's more than 10 years, over 90% more than 10 years. So that is some data that we can study.
Okay, a couple of other issues I've also been reading about. First of all, is the electromagnetic waves inside an EV car off the scale. If people are scared of EMF, this is one big concern though. That's one. The other one is also the fires. If you get caught, if you have an accident in an EV car, the fire cannot put out one, right? It's like a blue flame which is inextinguishable. And I've heard reports in Europe that the rescue worker, people who roadside lah, who try to rescue the people in a crashed EV, were burned to death, or when they touched the car, they got electrocuted. So now I'm hearing, okay, from my friends, that to be a rescue worker in Europe for an EV car, you must be fully trained, wear all the correct equipment, the flame-proof gear. So that's a big concern for me. If I have whether through my fault or another person's fault in an EV car, the fire come out, sorry lah, it's curtains for you already lah, right?
Okay, you got many questions
Yeah.
here. You want to start with which one? Fire,
Okay.
EV fire.
EMF and fire
Okay,
safety.
okay,
So
EMF,
basically safety lah. Yeah,
All right, what is EMF? EMF is electromagnetic frequency radiation.
correct.
What is an induction cooker? What is a microwave? Both
Correct. But
are
you know
also
what you
EMF,
but you only microwave for like 2-3 minutes only more your char kway teow, you know. This one is sitting in the damn thing for 4 hours to go Penang what?
Yes, and then also there was recent report, and I don't know whether it's fake news. They say that in Russia they ban the Russian government. They don't allow microwave. They say this EMF is very bad for the body.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah, yeah.
makes your food bad and all that. Is it? And I don't know if fake news or not. That is a philosophy now that EMF is very bad, and that Russia has banned microwave cooker
Well, it's
because of this.
waves, right? It's waves, right?
It's
Right.
waves lah.
I mean that's why you put these things right. You talk on the phone. That's why people say don't talk on the phone too long,
Yeah,
right? You
correct.
can literally feel your brain frying,
Mm.
what, right?
So anyway, the I think this one the and then induction cooker, right? You want to boil water very fast without
Yeah.
using gas or with and because with the induction cooker you can put the timer so that you don't forget. So never mind, you won't burn your house down lah. So I think the jury is out lah on EMF. I think the jury is not yet in on what is the science behind EMF.
Okay. And then the blue flames, the
So when
fire,
we
right?
see in the EV car, we're surrounded by EMF. I think it's something of concern that we will need the data to come back in 10, 20 years. That hey, all of you buggers have been sitting in EV car. There's a higher rate of cancer in these people than in normal people. The data must come in. We don't know yet. I also cannot tell you.
I go to my car factories, right? The wire harnessing for those old cars already so many wires. This EV cars is completely all wired up. It's like there's waves enveloping the entire car, right? How
Hmm.
can that be good for you?
Uh,
I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah, we
right?
don't know. And then one of the things we know is that if you live now, there is data on this. There's data on this. If you live around a high tension cable, That means
Same
if
thing.
you know there are high tension cables running throughout the country,
Yeah.
even here in the Tropicana, I can see a big high tension wire cable. There's a green valley there, and it seems that people who live very near this high tension cable, they are more likely to have their fertility is affected lah. It seems
Correct.
lah.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct.
So there's
Correct.
data on that.
Yeah.
And when we
So
see in the
again,
EV, when we see in EV, we are sitting in when we say EV, the voltage must be 400 volt and above. The
right.
standard the
We have
standard
to
spec now
move.
400
Yeah.
volt,
Adults.
800
Yeah.
volt. So
Yeah. You
really
need
we
a
are
lot of
sitting in
power.
a we're really sitting inside this big electric machine lah. So we don't
Yeah.
know the data. We have to wait for the data. What is it like lah?
Yeah. So I suspect there's a lot of negative things that the car makers don't want the media to report, don't want a discussion in public. But these are the realities, though, right? Right. These are the realities, lah. And of course, the safety issue. If you have a crash, right, you can't put the fire out. So the occupants, if they survive the crash, they are literally either electrocuted or burned to death, and they can't be rescued, which is a big issue, right?
Okay, so now
Big
we
issue.
talk to let's talk to the fire of EV. Yeah? EV fires are usually from the battery. When the battery is penetrated or damaged, then it will short
Correct.
and then will burn. So these
Correct.
batteries, there's this fires from EV batteries are metallic fires. The minerals uh, create that oxygen and they burn it. They burn in a very intense manner, far at a far greater temperature than a normal combustion fossil fuel fire. Far greater. You're talking of something like few thousand degrees centigrade kind of
Yeah.
fire. So nobody can extinguish it, and it was a big kind of everybody was very scared of this for a long time. But now they already have a fire extinguishing fluid that that covers this fluid will just cover the smother the flames because they keep out the oxygen from the metals that are burning. The lithium is burning. So this is like a magnesium burning a very intense heat. So
Yeah.
that's
But
one.
you need, yeah.
There is a
Yeah. But you
technology
need.
for that.
Yeah. The technology may exist, yeah, I mean, but is it going to be everywhere in the sense that if you have a crash in any part of Malaysia, lah, there's going to be like one of those fire extinguishers, special one, that will be on hand within 20 minutes.
I don't
After
think
that
so
20
lah.
minutes, sorry lah, barbecue already lah.
I
10
don't think so.
minutes. I don't know, man. So
It
I
will
think
take time.
in conclusion, what are your ending thoughts on, EVs, car ownership, the future of auto industry? What's your concluding thoughts?
I think of course we are. I think we must understand we are part of an experiment.
Yeah,
All of us who are buying an EV, we are part of an experiment. And I want to be in this experiment because I like the idea of very cool comfort, no vibration and harshness because I'm driving Land Rovers
yeah, yeah.
and they are very noisy and they're very hot and they are vibrating everywhere. I love this idea of this. Hey,
It's
EV,
fantastic. It's fantastic. I've said inside it's fantastic, but the other side makes me think. Okay, there's all those other things to consider.
but
And my friend,
anyway,
why I don't mind. He want to buy something. I 200,000 to go and buy a BYDC or Tesla. Oh, it's my only car.
so I think I want to be part of this experiment, but I don't want to put all my big money there. I just wait lah for 1 2 years. Definitely, I will. The cars will be coming on the market.
Yeah.
50,000, 60,000. I'm sure there will be lah. Just wait lah. No rush one. I
So
even
my
have a
friend,
wall charger. You know.
yeah. What do you mean? How? So the plug, your normal plug, is it?
No, the wall charger is something that you buy. It's a glorified plug. Okay, it's just a glorified plug, and it makes your three phase. So number one, if you want to have a nice charging rate, it should be about 11 kilowatt hour charger. It's a
Yeah.
glorified plug that can give you 11 kilowatt of hour in this plug lah. And you need to have three phase wiring, then you can charge at 11 kilowatt. If you don't have three phase wiring,
Oh,
then you have to charge at a slower rate lah.
then my old house cannot really lah.
Your old house.
I guess that makes up my mind for me lah.
Your wall house, then you need a wall charger, then it will be a single phase, then it will charge maybe like 11 hours to get a full
Oh,
charge.
yeah, 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 yeah. Chi
Ah,
Chong Fun.
Chee chong fun, ah. So you have to come back early lah. You cannot come back at midnight and then want to work tomorrow 8 o'clock lah. You got to be a good boy lah.
Okay, brother. Thank you so much for your thoughts, man.
So I hope
Yeah,
people will take this as an experiment and don't ask for things like how do I know in 20 years this car got power up? Because in 20 years, even in 5 years, we don't even know the car brand is there or not lah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Exactly. The technology will be so different already by that.
yes, and yeah, the battery technology is changing every day, and I can tell you in 5 years, you're already using hydrogen fuel cell for lorries and
Yeah,
trucks. Lorries and trucks.
yeah.
It's too expensive for passenger car. Hydrogen
Yeah.
fuel cell is a good solution for EVs for heavy commercial vehicles, and it will come 5 years.
Okay, man. The future is exciting.
Future
Thanks a lot,
exciting.
man.
Okay.
Okay, take
Thank you
care.
so much. Bye.
Bye.